So today I'm going to be unboxing my Southern Mountain Rifle Kibler kit. I'm pretty excited about this one. This is my third Kibler. So originally I got a Colonial rifle and a Southern Mountain rifle. The Colonial was in standard maple. Although I will say hats off to Jim Kibler and his team, because even though it's standard maple, it had more curl than I was expecting. The first Southern Mountain rifle that I got was in a fancy maple. And this one that I got is an extra fancy maple. So this one, really hoping to be able to bring out the curl. And it's cool with these because, look, I'm not a handyman by any stretch of the imagination. And I was very, very intimidated by these kits, getting them. I didn't know if I'd be able to do it. But I will say, if you have determination and you have patience, I think that you'll be able to do it. I've always thought that I'm able to learn things if I have good instruction, and Jim Kibler's videos that he has have really good instruction. You watch them before you do it, watch them while you're doing it, take time to pause and watch them while you're in the middle of building. It can really help you get to where you need to go. But I'm really excited for this build. Now that I've learned a few things from building a couple, hoping that this one is really gonna be kind of my perfect one, if you will. Having made mistakes, obviously, but minor mistakes, really don't do anything with the functionality or look of the gun, or they're even hard for me to notice. But this one will be the one that I really take my time on. I will admit that I was a bit quick with the first two, because I got into black powder shooting early this year. Always enjoyed shooting guns. Had a few different guns, but I just, ever since especially COVID, just hadn't done it. I hadn't done it because it's so expensive. And so for my 31st birthday, I decided I always wanted a flintlock gun, and I've never had one. So I got a Invest Arms Italian made one and hated it. I mean, from day one, I just had issues shooting it. And, you know, people can get those to work. They really can. And if you're the kind of person that's okay with having not as good of a gun, which I was, I didn't need the Mercedes-Benz of a flintlock, and I'm just gonna take it out occasionally, and you don't mind cleaning it and kind of cleaning out the lock and the barrel between every single shot, because you're not gonna shoot it a whole lot, then yeah, those will work fine. But the thing that I discovered after getting some black powder revolvers and that flintlock is that I really like shooting black powder. And you know what? It wasn't too expensive to the point to where it would make it unrealistic to say I could do this a couple times a month and really not break the bank. But I just was getting sick of cleaning that damn Invest Arms gun. So I started doing research and thought that I was gonna have to get a custom gun made, spend $3,000 or $4,000, but I looked into and I heard about Jim Kibler's kits, and again was a bit intimidated, but I wanted one so bad that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna give it a shot. So I did, and I will say that the Southern Mountain rifle probably is the easiest of the two to build, just because there's not as I guess there's just fewer parts. The ramrod pipes seem like they're a bit easier. But I really enjoyed building it. So anyway, that's kind of the reason why I'm getting a third one now, is because I really love shooting these rifles and take my family and friends out when I can. It's nice having two, be even nicer having three. But be even nicer having a Southern Mountain rifle that is exclusively mine and will never get shot by anyone else other than me or my wife. Because it is my favorite of the two. We like to go camping a lot, and when we go camping, I always take this thing with me, and we'll set up a target and do some target shooting with it. And I just really like the style of the gun. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I've got one more screw. So I'm going to be making videos of me rambling, talking about the gun, what I've learned from building a couple of them now. And hopefully help those that are wanting to build one of these themselves. So, but this is it. This is the kit. So you've got your barrel. I got this one in 45 caliber. This is a swamped barrel. 45 caliber is the other one that I have as well, just for simplicity and not having to buy a bunch of different patches and size bullets and all that stuff. Decided to just go with another 45. I don't know that I'd really ever have a use for the smaller one, especially if I ever wanted to take this hunting. And then of course you've got the stock. I'll take this out here. Like I said, this one is extra fancy maple. So the other Southern Mountain rifle that I have is fancy maple. This one is extra fancy maple. See if I can get this out here. I have to rip this top foam off. Get this out, and oh yeah, you probably can't see it on camera, but this one's got some pretty curl to it that I will be very excited to bring out with the staining process, especially on that stock there. It's got some nice curl. But yeah, looking forward to building my second one of these. Like I said, not making the same minor mistakes that I did with my first build. Yeah, not that they're really anything super crazy, but just things that I've learned. Like I said, if you want to build one of these and you think that you can have the patience to slowly go along as you can, I literally built my other one on this kitchen table. I mean, all the tools that you need you can get from Home Depot or Jim Kibler himself or any of the other things. It's really not incredibly complicated. It's more just process that you need to have patience when you're going through, and that you need to be willing to take your time. And that's part of the reason why I made some mistakes with my first one, is because I, thought I had it against my better judgment, thinking I should probably watch that video again if I wasn't clear on something, and just kind of, no, I think I understand it. It makes sense. I'm just going to go and gun it. I didn't understand, and, again, led to a few minor mistakes. So that is something that I'm not going to repeat again. So this is some of the stuff that he sends with the kits. A drill bit guide, some bits that are appropriate sizes that you need, that make it easier to build the kit. You've got your ramrod pipes, hardware, your sights. Got your butt plate and your trigger guard, which you have to do a lot of filing on these. That's one thing that does take a bit of time. Of course, then you've got your Southern Mountain rifle lock. In here, I believe, is what this is. Like I said, this is my second kit. So I've got the trigger in here, as well as the lock. These locks are awesome. I love them. Like I have my other two we'll be out, me by myself or me and my wife and whoever else I'm taking out, and I will shoot these. I'll shoot them all day. I'll shoot them. I mean, we'll be out there from 6 in the morning, and sometimes we'll pack up, go home around noon or even 1. And in all that time, swab them. You don't have to swab them out. I recommend it. You know, after, I know there's a lot of people that do it between every few shots, every 3 shots to get accuracy, but I found that you don't have to do that. And if you really want to just focus on shooting and basically having fun, which is what I want to do, and not worry about cleaning as much, you're using good patches and lube to help keep the barrel clean while you're doing it, then I mean, I think I clean maybe between every 10 to 15 shots. That just is kind of to help it just stay consistent and stay accurate. So but yeah, these rifles are incredible with how nice they are and how good they shoot. Can't say enough about them, especially from having my first one as an Italian factory made Invest Arms gun, which, don't get me wrong, like, it worked. Like, you could make it work. I made it work. Figured out why I kept having damn misfires all the time as a thing. It's like, I literally, if that gun did not get cleaned out between every shot, cleaned out the pan between every shot, and then make sure that I kind of tapped in some powder into the flash hole when I charged the pan, I'd have just insane amount of misfires. And what he has in these barrels is the White Lightning touch hole. Basically, it's kind of coned in there so that your powder will get a lot closer in the barrel to the charged powder in your pan. So all you have to do is charge the pan and shoot, and it goes off. Even when it's dirty, even after shooting, like I was saying, 10 shots, 15 shots, haven't touched the damn thing to clean it, and it's still going off like a champ. That's why I love these rifles so much, is because, my opinion, if you want a good flintlock rifle, a good one, then it's this or getting a custom built one. And this is much more affordable. I mean, these kits start at around $1,000, and depending upon the grade of maple stock that you get, they go up a bit. But much more affordable than, say, getting a custom-made flintlock rifle for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, depending upon who's making it. And I'm still a newcomer to this sport. Like I said, I started doing it earlier this year, but I've been going out now ever since I finished these about a month and a half ago. I've gone out almost every single weekend to shoot, and I still have been watching a lot of videos about these guns, and just learning everything that I can. And that's why I'm wanting to do these videos now, is to just give the people that want to see how one of these are built from someone who just barely started doing this themselves, that it can be done. I'm a newcomer to the sport. Like I said, I'm not done this for very long. A lot of the guys that have been doing this longer than I've been alive. So I'm 31, just turned 31 earlier. So, but yeah, I'll show you the lock really quick. So this is the round Ketland lock, I believe is what it's called. Really nice lock. Got the same one on my other mountain rifle. Really, really like it. And then he's got the double set trigger system here too, which is also really awesome. Love using these. But yeah, so I'll be doing different videos of me building this out, talking about mistakes that I made in my first build compared to this one, and getting it done. I'm gonna take my time on this one. Like I said, the other ones I built fairly quickly because I just wanted them done, because I wanted to shoot, wanted to get out there and wanted to shoot. But this one I'm gonna take more of my time with it than I did on the other one, and really make sure that I do a good build quality on it. Even some of the things I'm noticing now that weren't on the first one, it looks like see, this is why I love Kibler kits. They are always improving. Looks like some of the grooves for the ramrod pipes are a bit more cut out than they were before, which should make it a lot easier to install them than my other one. And I bought that other one 3 months ago, so a lot of good changes. They're always changing and evolving these kits to make them better. This one even feels a bit smoother than the other one that I bought. So I'm going to be staining this one in iron nitrate, just like I did my other one. My other one, I did 2 coats of iron nitrate and linseed oil. And I really like it because it did give it a very dark look. Like, it really made the curl very dark. So for fancy maple, and that's what I wanted. I wanted that one to look pretty dark, kind of aged. But with this one, I'm gonna just do 1 coat. 1 coat of iron nitrate. I want this one to look lighter, so that the curl pops more, since this one is an extra fancy maple and there's a lot more curl in it. If I go too dark, then it's gonna make some of the curl blend together, which I don't want on this one. This one I want it to be lighter. I want the curl to pop more, so this one will look a bit more probably light and orange colored compared to my other one, which is more of a dark and like kind of blood red color, which I do like for that one. I think it looks awesome, but I think it will also help the guns stand out apart from each other as well. Even though they're the same gun, you don't want them to look identical like twins. You do want them to look different because each gun is different and has its own personality. And man, I'm excited to stain this one. This one's got some good curl. I know you probably can't see it in the camera, but we'll see it when I am finished with it, finished staining it and getting it done. And yeah, very excited to build this, and especially now that I know what mistakes not to do, and I've also built one before, should actually help it go faster since I kind of know what to do. I'll probably talk about the tools that I recommend getting as I go along the build. I think that's probably best instead of just talking about it all right here, but there's definitely some things that I learned that you want to invest in that some people didn't necessarily mention to me, that I ran into trouble and caused some mistakes. For example, I didn't have a sharpening stone and oil to sharpen my chisel, and that actually did cause a lot of problems, because if you don't have a super sharp chisel with this curly maple, you end up just kind of crushing the wood instead of cutting it. And that was very frustrating and just kind of made, again, not really huge mistakes, but sloppy mistakes. It just was annoying when you're in the lock housing in here trying to use it, and you're just crushing the wood and it's not really getting the shape that you want. Ended up using a kind of X-Acto knife instead of a chisel on the majority of it, which, worked, but probably not what you want to do. So that would be one of the things I'd say that I haven't seen anyone else talk about in building one of these that I highly, highly recommend, is get a sharpening stone, and I believe it's mineral oil, so that you can sharpen your chisel. Because like, you want the chisels that you get at Home Depot, just in my opinion, aren't sharp enough out of the store. So you really want to get a razor edge on those things so that you can use it how you need to when you're building one. Another thing, do not skimp on applying and using the Prussian blue transfer color. There were a few times where when I was building this, I thought that I, basically seen all the high spots on the butt plate. And because I rushed it and just thought I was good and didn't really double check, I ended up carving out too much of the stock right here when I was getting interference from the middle in here. And again, I was able to rectify it. Like first I had a big gap, but then I was able to carve out the high spots that I needed to in the butt stock where the plate goes, and made the gap very minimal. You can't even tell now unless you really take a close look at it. But again, just something that I caused my own problem and then ended up having to do some extra work when I was about ready to finish the stock. Instead of being able to just go straight to finishing it, I had to spend more time reapplying transfer color to the butt plate and putting it on here and fixing the mistake that I had made. Because I didn't want a huge gap that you could fit like a coin in between there. I just didn't want that. It'd look bad. It'd get dirt and mud in it when you're not using it. So it just was not something that I wanted. So that was a couple of the mistakes I made. I'm sure they'll think of more as I build this out. But yeah, wanted to do the unboxing for you guys so you could see everything. Hope you've enjoyed it, and hope to see you guys watch me in my journey as I finish this third Kibler kit now. Thanks.